Hi, I got laid off from my job today.
Procter & Gamble is cutting 7,000 jobs globally.
I was one of approximately 150 people in my organization that got let go.
And here are a list of companies, major companies, that have announced for June that they intend on doing layoffs.
So Scotiabank and RBC just mandated that all their workers come back to office 4 days a week starting in September. And that might not sound like too big of a deal, but it signifies some troubling times ahead for the Canadian economy.
I officially got my last paycheck today. Let that sink in. I was a government contractor.
So we're seeing a new wave of layoffs. I mean, Procter & Gamble, Paramount, we're seeing a lot of different companies throwing in the towel, and the layoffs are happening. The stock market keeps going up, but there's some funny business in the numbers because it seems like every week we see new layoffs after new layoffs after new layoffs. And TikTok's full of people talking about being laid off in real time. So we got to realize that there's going to be a new wave, and AI is displacing a lot of people. You're seeing it in the medical world. You're seeing it in software, technology. We're seeing it across the board, and it's going to change the landscape of jobs. So let's get into this and let's check them out. Let's see what people have to say.
Hi, I got laid off from my job today, and I'm posting this as a reminder for myself later that this will be the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I want to remind myself that I'm really good at what I do. I'm smart, and I'm funny, and I'm hardworking, and I'm really driven. And I'm gonna be just fine. I'm gonna be just fine. So, I don't expect anyone to watch this, but I'm posting it for myself so that when I come back 6 months or a year, whenever, I can look at this and be like, you told me it's gonna be the best thing that ever happened. So
Procter & Gamble is a massive company, maker of Gillette, Tide, Charmin, and Pampers. They also make Febreze, Olay, Pantene, Mr. Clean, Duracell, and Crest toothpaste, amongst many other iconic brands. But they are saying that they are having to do these layoffs thanks to the higher cost imposed by customs duties, also known as tariffs. Procter & Gamble is also cutting costs because consumers are pulling back. As you may have heard from the story I did on Dollar General, people are spending less on essentials. And it's not just at the dollar store, it's amongst Procter & Gamble's family of brands too. So once again, wherever you look in US retail, the consumer is under pressure. And you know what that is an indicator of: recession. There's simply nothing else that you can call all of these companies laying people off and all these consumers pulling back on their spending. And as much as I hate to be the bearer of bad news, more announcements like this will be on the way. It's simply inevitable with the trade policy that we have right now.
Guys, it is brutal out there. Do not quit your day jobs in June. I don't care what's going on, how rough it is, how stressful that job is for you. Unless you have something lined up, do not bounce. Right here, I'm going to post them on the screen. Here are a list of companies, major companies, that have announced for June that they intend on doing layoffs. It is not going to get any better anytime soon. I understand you may hate your job, but unless it is a mentally damaging position where it is so toxic that you are just going to harm yourself or it's going to degrade your quality of life, stay in your job. The phrase "do not quit your day job" has taken on a completely new meaning in this job market.
It's so sad to watch people lose their jobs, and it's something I feel like we have to discuss because you have to know how to react to it when it happens. Have your resume built at all times, and have a secondary plan, or maybe a third, doing your own thing now that we have so many opportunities out there to start our own entrepreneur endeavor. But that brings a lot of risk too, and if you have a family, it makes it really hard. And especially if you're in your older years, sometimes changing careers can be hard. The career you start with and you end with are usually not going to be the same. People change what they do for a living about 7 times throughout their career. You're constantly evolving, learning new things, but it can be really hard when you're, in your 40s and 50s and 60s, and all of a sudden you got to learn a new mousetrap. I know right now it would be tough to learn a whole new thing, but I would do it because I have to, because I have a family.
Well, I'm sitting here on my porch trying to get some fresh air. I found out yesterday that I was one of approximately 150 people in my organization that got let go, laid off, restructuring. That's what we were told, whatever that means. The last 24 hours have been actually 24 plus hours, I guess. It's now 28 hours. Have been pretty tough. A lot of emotions. It's really the first time I think I've ever been laid off in my, God knows how long I've been working. It seems like forever. 30 years maybe. I don't know. Long time. 30 plus years. I think this is my first actual layoff. So, not performance based. You know, I'm eligible for rehire, so I guess that's a positive. But so now I'm out in the market at 53 years old. Don't know what's going to happen. Apparently, I do have some severance. Still waiting to find out the details on that. So at least I know I'm going to be carried for a little bit before I have to start dipping into any reserves or any other additional funds, trying to avoid all that.
So Scotiabank and RBC just mandated that all their workers come back to office 4 days a week starting in September. And that might not sound like too big of a deal, but it signifies some troubling times ahead for the Canadian economy. And what we've seen in the past in other sectors, particularly in the technology industry, is that return to work mandates have been used as almost a form of quiet layoffs so that the worker can voluntarily leave their job without receiving a severance. And what usually ensues after some of these policies is that we start to witness mass layoffs. Now, if we zoom out and we look at the big picture here, we have return to work mandates, high unemployment rates, a threat of looming tariffs from the United States administration, as well as a lack of productivity and decreased GDP growth. Combine all of that together and we have some troubling times ahead for the Canadian economy. If you are gainfully employed, now might not be the best time to leave your job. Also, if you have a big purchase that you're thinking of making, now might not be the best time to do that. And coincidentally, if you are sitting on a large amount of cash and you do have an appetite for a certain level of risk, now could be a good time to see some opportunities.
One thing I could say when you get laid off, know your rights. Don't let them bully you. They will say everything under the bus to bully you or make you feel like you don't deserve what is right for you. Get an attorney if you have to. Know your rights, know your severances, know your benefits, know what you're entitled to if they get rid of you. I'm not a lawyer. Go find you a good lawyer. And make sure that you don't walk away from something that you're entitled to, whether it's benefits, 2 weeks notice, severance package, whatever it may be. It's equity. Shares, make sure you know your rights. Talk to everybody you possibly can. If you're in Canada, comment down below. What's it like there? Are you seeing job layoffs? Are you seeing things slow? Did the tariffs have anything to do with anything? Comments down below so we can all know, we can all learn from whatever you got to say. But one thing that always happens in layoffs is they'll use some type of event to disguise the layoffs they were wanting to do for a long time. During 2008, they used that to lay off the higher brass, the older people in the pool, and then replace them with younger people, twice as many young people for half the amount of pay. And it seems like there's a cycle that happens, and I think this whole retooling thing coming back to America has a lot to do with AI warehouses and retooling all of America for AI, because a lot of these corporate worlds think that they can drive down employee costs and things like that, the cost of goods by just putting robots to work. Then the profit margin will double. Prices won't come down because of AI, but production will go up, and this is their excuse to put the robots in action. That's just my opinion.
It's June 10th, and I just got laid off. Crazy. But at the same time, like, okay. Like, what do I do? It's like still hitting me, I think. What do I do?
Hi. I got laid off from my job today. And I'm posting this as a reminder for myself later that this will be the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I want to remind myself that I'm really good at what I do. I'm smart and I'm funny and I'm hardworking, and I'm really driven, and I'm gonna be just fine. I'm gonna be just fine. So, I don't expect anyone to watch this, but I'm posting it for myself so that when I come back 6 months or a year, whenever, I can look at this and be like, you told me it's gonna be the best thing that ever happened.
You know, just look at it as a positive thing. This is an opportunity to try something new, meet new people. Maybe this career has a higher upside. Maybe go back to school, start a business. I mean, for me, you know, it was an opportunity to start this and start real estate and go in a different path. And I've met so many new people, different people, great people, amazing people, mentors. Sometimes it can be a good thing. Opens new doors.
Okay, I'm gonna get through this without crying. I just got promoted to Associate Director of People, and on Friday, I was laid off. This is a month after I was just promoted. I know TikTok is really good at helping people find their next landing. We were in the process of a new home, no longer able to do that. I've got over 9 years of experience in human resources, in people operations. If anyone sees this and knows of anyone that is looking for someone to come on board, their team, I'm happy to send my information. This market is just, it's
She seems like a very smart, articulate person. I think she's going to do well. That is a tough position to be in. You just get a promotion. You're looking at a new horizon there. You want to buy a house. You're probably young. You're wanting to start a family. And then this happens. And many companies do this to people. They fill a gap knowing that the timeline is very short. And then they shuffle everybody around, and then they axe the company, or they cut employees or cut costs. I see it so much on these videos. I've learned so much watching these videos of the things that employers do to employees. So understand your rights. Get an attorney if you have to. Know that you have value, that you're good at what you do, and you will find another position. Just stay positive with it.
Anybody else getting just absolutely dogpiled on with the job rejections this week? Like, yes, love that the companies are active. I'm like, let me hit those job applications. But god damn, I wake up and I'm like, can you guys let me get the crud out of my eye? A slew, mama. Hey, mama, a slew behind you. A slew of rejections behind you, girl. Like, hello? And to add insult to injury, I just look bald today.
A lot of the rejections that you see online, a lot of them are data mining. So they get you to fill out all these applications and all this information on their websites, and they're data mining. And that's crummy about the job search. Another one is TikTok, social media, YouTube. They're full of people losing their job and getting rejected right now. So you are not alone. There are a lot of people out there having a hard time in the job market. If you're out there, you're having a hard time in the job market, stay strong, because we know it's happening. But also, if you've done 500 or 600 applications, you should probably start thinking about, hey, let's do my own thing. Let's get out there and let's start a business. It might be more lucrative than spending all these agonizing hours trying to work for somebody else to make them rich.
I officially got my last paycheck today. Let that sink in. I was a government contractor, and I officially got my after 8 years at my job. I was not fired. We were all laid off. There were 350 government contractors laid off, and we all got our last paychecks right now, today. 350 people from one company. Let that sink in.
I tell you, a lot of these government contracts, you know, you start out with the DOD, and then you got the contractors underneath them, or let's say you got the regular government contractors underneath them, and then you got the subcontractors, and then you've got the people that do all the stuff underneath the subcontractors. And once the top's cut, it just goes down the list. And when Doge was doing all those cuts, I said right then and there, you're going to have a lot of prime, subprime, subcontractors that are just going to, the trickle down effect is going to happen in the budget. And that's what we're seeing with a lot of this. Sad to see, you know, it's, we're living in rough times. We're living in tough times. We're living in turbulent times, I would think the word is, because you're constantly having to adjust, constantly having to figure it out. And with the AI, you don't even know if your industry is going to even be there or the degree you even have is going to be relevant in the future. But that's all I got. It is a wild job market out there. You know, I don't know what would happen if Samantha lost her job. I know she'd be brokenhearted. You know, we would recover. We would figure it out. We would regroup in the living room. You know, I just say for everybody right now, reduce your debt as much as possible. Don't do credit card debt. Be very careful with your mortgages. Don't take out more than you can chew. And with insurance on your house, be careful with that because it's constantly going up, 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 up. It seems like everything is going up. Not only is it, and if you look at the job numbers, I personally don't believe the job numbers. Comment down below if you believe the job numbers because they just revise them 8 months from now, a year from now, and then tell them, oh, unemployment was double then. Well, it's like, I feel it. I feel that the job market is bad because all my friends are telling me. There's all these people out there talking about it, but yet they'll tell you everything is fine. I keep saying we're in a recession. The numbers are saying that, are we? And that's millions of jobs lost, and I think we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. How do they fix this? I think they print money. I think they try to print their way out. I think the real estate market is next. I think commercial real estate is going to see it next. They've got to refinance $1.2, $1.7 trillion worth of debt out there. And how? Interest rates are still up. There's a lot of things that I think could affect the job market in the near future, and we're seeing it in real time. Comment down below what you think. I'll see you guys on the next video. And if you happen to be looking for real estate on the Gulf Coast of Alabama or Florida, my email is down below. I'll be happy to help you. And if I can't help you, I'll find somebody that can. And if you're looking for a real estate agent anywhere in the country, email down below. I'll be happy to find you one. I'll see you guys later.